What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're going to showcase a Dark Expedition auto team that will score up to 1.5 million every single time you go in, which is just amazing, and it utilizes some pretty low gear requirements. First up, we have Brieg. He comes with pretty much everything you can ever need. He has a Dispel, he has a Speed Down, he has a Defense Break, he also has a Barrier, he gets extra skills, and he self-cycles if you have a chance to build this hero. He is a great frontline knight for every expedition except for Earth, so definitely build him. I have him onto just some leftover gear that I had. It's not too bad as long as you can hit your gear requirements, and I think that pretty much any set will work. You can put him onto a set like counter build, you can put him on speed build, pretty much anything that you have. Now at 23,000, I have him onto Steadfast Gatekeeper. That way he does not die. What I found is if you put him on Aureus, then sometimes he takes way too much damage from your back row heroes, and then that puts him into a really bad situation. What you can do is you can mitigate that by having a healing artifact on your healer, and we'll get to that when we get to Tamarin. What we want is somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 defense, 23 to 25k HP I think is good, 150 to 180 speed is good. Then you want crit chance, and you need to have 85% effectiveness to land all of those defense breaks and all those speed debuffs onto the target, because the expedition bosses have 100 effect resist. You need to have 85% effectiveness to make sure that you land those debuffs. And next up, we have Tamarin. You guys know exactly what she does. She is an amazing PvE healer. Definitely pull for her if you don't have her yet. This is where you can use your story summon, or the next time her banner comes around, make sure that you get Tamarin. I use her into every expedition as my healer, including Opposite Element. She does great into the water expedition as well. What we want is to have a HP necklace and an HP ring. If you don't have HP for both of those, then go ahead and put a defense, and then you also want speed boots. As long as you can hit some fairly tanky stats, then she'll do fine, but you want to have more HP if you can, because that'll make her heals a little bit better. So what we want is same thing as your knight. You want to have 1,000 to 1,500 defense. Try and get 15k to 20k HP. Under 200 speed is fine, but she does an S1 on her first attack, so really in this case, speed doesn't really matter. If you're using her in PvP, it's really kind of old school, but you can have her as fast as you want, again, because she won't mess you up by using a heal on her first turn. She has a Dispel on her S number 1. That means you want to have 85% effectiveness, that anything you have left over goes into effect resist. I have her onto Wondrous Potion Vial. This is really not the best in slot for her. I would like to have her onto something like a Celestine or a Rod of Amaryllis, but I just don't have one available. So any artifact that gives her faster cycling or more healing will be best. Next up, we have Lilka, who's a very fun unit. This is a 3-star unit I really didn't expect much out of, but she works fantastic into the Dark and also the Water Expedition. On her very first turn, she has a non-skill attack, which is very important into the Dark Expo to remove that buff so you don't have as much damage, so that you can keep your team alive a lot longer. This is an attack buff. For turn number 1, also a combat readiness increase, that'll help your DPS cycle. She also has an S number 3 that hits quite hard. It has a decreased attack and a speed down, which is very important. Now the speed buff does not work here because this is the Dark Expedition, but does work onto the Ice Element Expedition. And then her S number 1 has a 2-turn defense break. This is important as well because now we have a second redundancy for defense break that helps you do a lot more damage. The number 1 defense break you have will be Brieg, but now on her S1, probably on her 3rd turn, she's going to be able to hopefully land that defense break for 2 turns, and you can keep it up for the entire fight. She's really easy to build. If we look at a lot of her gear, this is not amazing gear, only 1 or 2 pieces of reforged gear here. What we really want is to hit our stat values. Now this ring did roll really well. It's level 80 ring, but rolled like a reforged piece of gear at 91 gear score. Very nice. It rolled better than level 88 pair of boots, which is kind of funny. But that's because we have this this flat stat here which we could put into a defense or an HP, but I just haven't done that yet. That would increase the gear score above 90, which is really what our goal is. Now, what you want is 180 speed or less. Same thing with your Brieg, because you don't want them to use their non-skill attack on the very first turn. After that, we want to have 85% effectiveness so she can land all those debuffs, then everything else can go into attack-based stats. Now we also have Song of Stars. This is going to help with your damage, because when you land that target debuff, you'll get a 10% increase to your damage, which is very important. That's what she's there for. She's there to help your main DPS cycle. She's there to land debuffs, and she's there to make sure that you can do as much damage as possible. And lastly, we have our main DPS, Landy. Honestly, Landy is a limited unit, but she's so hard to replace here and still do big damage. You can pull in someone like Sturmia or Helga and get up to 800,000 or up to a million, but Landy will do 200,000-300,000 more than everyone else because she cycles so fast. She has combat readiness onto her S number 1 and 3. She also has a speed buff, making her a very good DPS for this fight. Now this Landy is on speed set. You can put her onto most set that you're using for PvP. You can even put her onto a rage set if you'd like, and she does great damage there. This Landy a little bit too fast because she's using the speed pair of boots. Ideally, I would want an attack pair of boots, but I just don't have one for her right now. She's pretty easy to build. What I want is just basic attack stats. As much attack as you can, over 3,000, probably up to 3,500 to 4,000 would be better, again, with that attack pair of boots. Then I want to bring her down to 180 speed or less, because she has a combat readiness boost on her S number 3. If she goes before the boss, she's going to raise up everyone that use their non-skill attacks, and that's going to mess up your whole turn order. After that, we want to try and get to as close to 100% crit chance as you can, at least 85, but try and get to 100, then everything else can go into crit damage. She has no debuffs, so you don't need effectiveness here. She's just going to be there for doing a lot of damage. Now, if you have her onto a PvP artifact, I think that's fine, but I keep mine on Rosa all the time. This is a very good artifact because you're doing a lot of S1, and she's going to help out a lot with the dual attacks. That helps her cycle, and then she just does more damage. But pretty much anything that you have her on for whatever you're using her for is going to work. If you have her at this speed, you're going to have to manual the very first turn to do an S1, again, to prevent her from using that S3 and boosting everyone up.
For Felicia. Ah. Yes!
Grant me power, Lord Noyas. There's nothing more absurd than the arrogance of a fool.
I'm not so sure about this, but you didn't see this coming. Go away. Are you scared? Covering fire. Full frontal assault. That's an order. Yep.
I have no mercy to spare for your reckless greed.
Go away. Listen to my song. Shine free.
Out of respect, I'll use all my might. There's nothing more absurd than the arrogance of a fool.
I look silly, don't I? Let me show you my secret weapon. Respect the great land! Here! Over.
Advance.
Receive. Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine!
With each meaningless outburst, you degrade yourself further.
I'll focus on one at a time. Requesting approval. And granted. Removing restrictions. Charge! Quickly now. Go away. Requesting backup. Are you alright?
The time has come. There's nothing more absurd than the arrogance of a fool.
Full frontal assault. That's in order. Together. Over. Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine. Upright fire. I'm not so sure about this, but... Proceed. Let me show you my secret weapon. Respect the Great Land!
I have no mercy to spare. For your reckless greed.
For Lady Fate. Go away. Over here. Over. Listen. To my song. Shine free. Full frontal assault. That's in order.
Advance.
Receive.
There's nothing more absurd than the arrogance of a fool.
Here. Upright fire. Get moving.
Too slow. Grant me power, Lord Noyas.
Receive.
With each meaningless outburst, you degrade yourself further.
Requesting approval. And granted. Removing restrictions. Charge! Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine! Yes! Help, please. Go away.
Dark Expedition, not nearly as hard as it used to be. If you don't have Briag, who is best in slot here, then I like to use my Cecilia. If you don't have Cecilia, try and pull in a Raz, but in that order, definitely try and get Briag first, because he's going to be the best for you. Now, if you don't have Landy, pull in a Sirmia, make sure she's on the S1 exclusive equipment, and she'll do pretty well. You can also use Helga or any other type of DPS, as long as you can keep them alive, they can cycle, and you can do as much damage as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.